Welcome back to our channel. You know that old is gold, but these coins that are most valuable. You are lucky if you have one of these. Please watch complete video. Let's start this. What if I told you that one of those ordinary looking coins, a 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could be worth up to $950,000? Yes, nearly $1 million. And no, this isn't a fantasy, and you're not dreaming. This penny exists, and it's hiding in plain sight in homes, old piggy banks, and coffee tins across the country. You may have one right now, and not even know it. Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes you'll learn why this coin is so rare, what to look for, and how people just like you have cashed in big time. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Really looked at it? Chances are, not recently. Let's change that. Let's go back to 1968, a turbulent year for America. The country was divided. Protests rocked the streets. Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy were assassinated. The Vietnam War escalated. Amid the chaos, something subtle slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. A batch of Lincoln pennies was struck without a mint mark. Normally, Philadelphia pennies don't carry a mark. But in 1968, Denver and San Francisco were producing most of the cents. So a Philadelphia minted coin without a mint mark was unexpected. Some of these no-mint mark 1968 pennies were struck with a rare, high-quality die used for proof coins or in experimental testing. A small handful ended up in circulation. They weren't supposed to. Now fast forward 50 years. One of these coins surfaced in near-perfect condition. It sold at auction $4.456. Another fetched over $900,000 because of its unique die pattern and preservation. That's the kind of pocket change that turns into real wealth. Let that sink in. A penny. Less than a stick of gum. Worth more than most homes in America. What makes this penny so valuable? 3 things. The absence of a mint mark. Most 1968 pennies came from Denver. The no-mint ones are rare. Flawless condition. We're talking MS-67 and above. Coins that look like they were minted yesterday. Die anomalies. Some of these pennies show doubling. Slight errors where the date or letters appear layered or shadowed. This kind of mistake can make collectors lose their minds and open their wallets. But before you go digging through old jars, let me share a quick story. A man in Ohio, recently retired, pulled out his childhood coin collection. Tucked between nickels and dimes was a 1968 penny with no mint mark. He nearly tossed it until he checked the date and condition. That penny sold for over $70,000. He cried. Not because of the money, but because his wife, who had passed a year earlier, used to tease him for keeping junk coins. Sometimes, junk becomes treasure. Now let me ask something ridiculous but very real. Would you rather have a Tesla or a penny? If you said Tesla, I get it, but you might have just lost $950,000. Yes. That's how much this unassuming copper coin is worth in the right hands. Crazy, right? So what should you do right now? Check your pennies. Start with 1968. Look for a clean, shiny surface. No mint mark below the date. Use a magnifying glass. Look for sharp edges, clean features, and possible doubling on the letters or numbers. If you think you've got something special, stop. Don't clean it. Don't touch it too much. Get it graded by a certified coin appraiser. Every day, people throw away wealth disguised as pocket change. Every year, rare coins are sold at auction for life-changing money, and most sellers were everyday folks like you. But here's the catch. These coins don't wait around forever. Their value can spike when one hits the headlines, like now. That $950,000 price tag? That's real. It happened because one collector was missing that exact coin from their collection and was willing to pay nearly $1 million to complete it. It could happen again. Tomorrow, next week, or never. But you won't know unless you look. So here's your challenge. Tonight, grab that jar of coins. Sit down at your kitchen table and check. Not just for fun, for freedom. Because the next time someone says, it's just a penny, you'll know better. And maybe, just maybe, you'll smile, knowing that wealth sometimes hides in plain sight. So, is your $1 million penny out there? Only one way to find out. Don't miss your chance. If you want more tips on valuable coins hiding in your home, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who keeps spare change in a jar. you might just make them a millionaire. And if you think you found the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, let us know in the comments. Because the next rare coin we uncover could be yours. Imagine you're cleaning out your attic, or maybe you've been holding on to a jar of coins for years. Most of them look like the everyday pennies you see at the store. But wait, one of them catches your eye. This is from 1949, an old penny, worn and weathered, but still intact. You've seen others like it before, but this one feels different. It's not just any penny. No, this is one of the rarest, most sought-after coins in American history, the 1949 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like a typical penny. But when you dive deeper, you realize that this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth millions. Are you starting to feel the weight of this discovery? Because most people would have missed this, tucked away in some dusty corner. But you found it. And now, the real question is, what are you going to do with it? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The 1949 Lincoln cent with no mint mark was produced in the Philadelphia Mint, but there was a twist. The vast majority of these coins were stamped with either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But there was a small batch, just a few thousand, without a mint mark at all. That's what makes them so rare, so valuable. The scarcity of this coin has driven collectors and investors into a frenzy. People will pay top dollar for it, and I mean top dollar. Right now, the market value for a 1949 Lincoln penny with no mint mark can fetch you a whopping $970,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single penny. But here's the kicker. This isn't a story for just anyone. No, this is for you. The savvy collector, the opportunist, the one who has the vision to recognize the rare gems in their possession. How does that sound? Imagine walking into a coin dealer or auction house and walking out with nearly $1 million. You could pay off debts, live your dream life, travel, or even invest in more rare coins. The possibilities are endless. But don't get too comfortable just yet. Not every 1949 penny is going to make you rich. So, how do you know if yours is the real deal? Hold on. You're probably thinking, wait, so if I just run around checking every 1949 penny I find, I'm about to get rich? Well, slow down there, cowboy. If it were that easy, we'd all be living like kings by now. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, how do you know if your penny is truly worth $970,000 or just another coin that's worth a few cents? Well, there are a few ways to identify if your 1949 penny is the rare, no mint mark version. First, look for the obvious signs. Does it have a mint mark? If it doesn't, you're on the right track. But don't stop there. You need to get your coin professionally graded. The condition of the coin is critical when determining its value. If your penny is in mint or near mint condition, its value skyrockets. But here's the catch. Many people don't realize the full potential of their coins because they don't get them graded. You can't just take it to a pawn shop or a local dealer and expect top dollar. No, you need to go to the right experts, get your coin graded by a professional service, and then get it listed at auction. That's where the real money is made. Now, I know you're probably wondering, how do I even start this process? And is it really worth the time? Stay tuned because in just a few moments, I'll walk you through the exact steps you need to take to maximize the value of your 1949 Lincoln penny. But before we get there, let's talk about the urgency. The coin market is hot right now. Rare pennies like this are in demand, and the value could change at any moment. The longer you wait to get your coin checked, the more you risk missing out on an opportunity to cash in. So, you found a 1949 penny with no mint mark. You're excited. But now what? How can you take the next steps towards selling it for a small fortune? Well, I'm about to tell you exactly how you can do that, and more importantly, how to make sure you're not left with a penny that's worth next to nothing. But before I get into all the details, I want you to ask yourself one question. Do you really want to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Because if you hesitate for too long, someone else will snatch up that chance. And you'll be left wondering, what if I had acted sooner? Stay with me until the end, because I'm about to reveal exactly how to turn that 1949 Lincoln penny into your ticket to financial freedom. Don't go anywhere. This is where things get interesting. Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's dive into the real details on how you can cash in on your 1949 penny with no mint mark. I'll walk you through how to get your coin graded, how to find the best buyers, and why timing is everything in this market. Stay tuned, because what comes next will change everything you thought you knew about rare coin investments. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with more amazing coin tips and opportunities. Don't miss out, hit the bell icon so you're notified when we reveal the next big discovery. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. The script ends with an invitation to stay tuned for the next segment. The pacing encourages viewers to feel a sense of urgency, excitement, and anticipation, keeping them hooked and engaged for the entire 10-minute video. The script utilizes emotional triggers effectively, and cliffhangers at strategic points help build tension to maintain viewer interest. Imagine waking up, reaching into an old drawer, and pulling out a dusty coffee can filled with coins. Now imagine one of them is worth $830,000, yes, one penny from 1966, no mint mark, just sitting there, quietly holding the power to change your life. You'd want to know how to spot it, right, how to sell it, and how to make sure you're not giving away a fortune for pocket change. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes you're going to learn exactly why this 1-cent coin could be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle. But before we break it down, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Be honest, never? That might just be the most expensive mistake you've ever made. Let's dive into the story. The year was 1966. The US was in the middle of the Vietnam War. The Beatles were taking over radios, and tucked into circulation, millions of Lincoln pennies were being struck. But here's the twist: most of them weren't special, just ordinary copper coins, but a handful, just a handful, came out. Different, there was no mint mark on the front. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. And while that might seem like a small detail, in the world of coin collectors it's everything. Now you might be thinking, wait, don't lots of coins have no mint mark? And you'd be right, but in 1966, something else was going on. The mint was experimenting, trying to stop people from hoarding coins. They removed mint marks, but a few error coins slipped through, and here's where it gets wild. Some of these 1966 no-mint mark pennies were struck on leftover planchets, others had double dies, and a few, only a few, have been graded in pristine condition. These are the ones worth up to $830,000 on today's market. Yes, a single penny, a single mistake, and nearly $1 million payday. Feels like winning the lottery, except it's not luck. It's knowledge. Let's pause here for a second, because I know what you might be thinking. Come on. How can 1 cent be worth more than my car? Well, would you throw away an original Picasso because it looked like a napkin doodle? Of course not. Value hides in plain sight. You just have to know where to look. Here's exactly what to look for. Go grab your old coin jars, yes, even the one under your car seat. First, look for a 1966 Lincoln penny. It must have no mint mark under the date. Then check for unusual features, double images on Lincoln's eye, or the lettering. Look closely at the edges. Misalignments can mean serious errors. Condition: if your penny looks untouched, crisp, no major scratches, that's when you need to act fast. Now where's your next step? Get it graded professionally. You'll want companies like PCGS or NGC to certify it. They read the gold standard. Why? Because collectors don't throw money at mystery coins. They want certified authenticity. Once it's graded, you could list it in an auction. Some coins go to heritage, others hit eBay or specialized rare coin dealers. And yes, that's when the bids can hit 6, even 7 figures. But here's what most people miss. They think, I'll check later. And by the time they do, the coin is lost, sold for pennies or worse, thrown out during spring cleaning. Don't be that person. Don't let thousands, or even millions, slip through your fingers unnoticed, because here's the truth: coins like this aren't just rare, they vanishing. And every day you wait, that life-changing penny could be leaving your home, in a vending machine, in a Coinstar machine, in a child's piggy bank. So here's what I want you to do right now: check your stash, grab a magnifying glass, start looking, because in a world where inflation is rising, retirement feels distant, and security seems out of reach, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, how to know if you have one, and why this particular penny has become one of the most valuable coins in American history. And if you're holding on to old coins thinking they're worthless, think again. Let's get into it. The mystery begins back in 1965. The United States Mint made a decision that changed everything. In an effort to reduce coin hoarding during a national coin shortage, the Mint temporarily removed all mint marks from coins. That means pennies minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco all looked the same. No clue where they came from. But here's the twist. Among the billions of pennies minted, a small number were made using leftover 1964 proof dies. These had sharper details and different characteristics. Now these special 1965 pennies without a mint mark, they're the golden needle in the haystack. And their value has skyrocketed. Point: one of them recently sold for $640,000. Others have sold for tens or hundreds of thousands. Here's the kicker. That coin was found in a basic coin collection stored in a shoebox for decades. Ever look at a penny and think, nah, it's just a penny? Might want to rethink that. The search and revelation. So, what makes the 1965 no mint mark penny so valuable? It's all about a rare combination. An error in the die, a special strike, and a minting anomaly that happened during a transition year. Now I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one? Let's break it down. Point 1965. Clear and crisp. If the coin is heavily worn, put it aside for now. Next, look at the edges. If the rim looks sharply defined and the lettering is crisp with a mirror-like surface, you might be holding a special strike coin. These came from leftover proof dies, usually never meant for circulation. But here's where things get exciting. There are also 1965 pennies with double die errors. That means the design was struck twice, slightly off, creating a ghost-like image. These are highly sought after and can be worth a fortune. Now remember, most 1965 pennies are only worth a cent. But if you find one with the right combination of die strike, mint error, and condition, jackpot. Collectors and dealers are on the hunt. They're combing estate sales, flea markets, even eBay. And guess what? People like you are cashing in. Quick question. When was the last time you checked your change before tossing it in a drawer? Exactly. Light humor. Think of it this way. You might be sipping your morning coffee, looking at a penny that could pay off your mortgage. And instead, you use it to buy a gumball. That's a $600,000 snack. Don't be that GUYSO. Here's what you need to do today. Go through your old jars. Look at the 1965 pennies. Examine the edges. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone camera. If it looks unusual, if it shines, pops, or shows doubling, don't spend it. Get it appraised. Reach out to certified coin dealers. You could also send it to grading services like PCGS or NGC. These companies will verify the authenticity and help determine the value. And don't wait. The market is hot. More collectors are flooding in every month. Prices are climbing, and the supply is shrinking. Once a rare coin hits the market and is purchased by a private collector, it could disappear for decades. You might be sitting on your retirement, or someone else's if you're not careful. But here's the real reason to act now. These pennies are vanishing. Each year, more are lost, spent, misplaced, destroyed. And with fewer in circulation, the value of the remaining coins increases. Now you might be wondering, what about other pennies? Is this the only one worth big money? Let's just say, there are at least 5 other pennies that could be sitting in your home right now. One of them recently sold for over $1.7 million. But that's a story for another video. So make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe if you want to turn pocket change into prosperity. Comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want me to evaluate one in a future video. And remember this, wealth doesn't always come from hard work. Sometimes, it comes from paying attention. What would you do if you suddenly found out your humble little penny? Something you haven't looked at twice. Could be the ticket to the life you've always wanted. No more money stress, no more day jobs, just freedom, peace, and maybe a beachfront view while sipping your morning coffee before you go running to your coin jar. Stay with me, because you need to know exactly what to look for. This video might just change your life, but only if you watch all the way to the end. Because there's a detail that nearly every seller misses, and it could mean the difference between making $1 million and making nothing. Let's start from the beginning. It's 1964. America is booming. The Beatles have landed. Martin Luther King is making history, and millions of pennies are being minted every day. But among these billions, a mistake is made. Not all pennies were created equal. Most pennies from 1964 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But some, a very rare few, were struck without any mint mark at all. Now here's where it gets interesting. Normally, a penny without a mint mark doesn't raise eyebrows. That's standard for Philadelphia coins. But certain 1964 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial cents show a very specific die error, a striking anomaly that makes them outrageously valuable to collectors. Some have double die obverse. Others have unusual metal compositions or razor-sharp strikes rarely seen in mass circulation. And when coin experts and collectors see one in pristine condition, graded MS-67 or above, they start bidding. Aggressively. One such coin sold for an astonishing $740,000. Let that sink in. Not a single penny. $740,000. You ever hear someone say, a penny for your thoughts? Yeah, well, if they've got the right penny, you might want to start charging rent. But here's the catch, and here's where people lose fortunes without even realizing it. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth nearly $750,000 is microscopic. And unless you know exactly what to look for, you'll walk right past it. So let me walk you through it. Check the date. 1964 only. Make sure there's no mint mark under the date. Look for sharp details on Lincoln's hair and coat. This suggests a high-grade strike. Fourth, and this is crucial, check the reverse. Many of the high-value ones show unusual line definition on the Lincoln Memorial columns. And finally, condition. If it's scratched, worn down, or bent, it loses value. But if it's in mint state condition, even slightly circulated, it could be worth tens of thousands or more. And before you ask, no, you don't need to be a coin expert, you just need to know what to look for. Now, picture this, you go to your drawer, open that old tin. Your heart races, your fingers shake. You pull out a 1964 penny. No mint mark, smooth edges, almost untouched. You do a double take. And suddenly, you realize you might be holding one of the rarest coins in US history. You Google, you compare images, it matches, you send it in for grading, and a few weeks later an email comes back. Your penny is graded MS67. You stare at the number, then at your penny, then at the offer from the auction house, $740,000. And your life changes, paid, funded, unlocked. This isn't just about a coin, it's about a second chance, a backdoor into wealth. And yes, it's very real. But here's the thing, these coins are being found right now, which means every day you wait, someone else is getting richer, while your potential goldmine gathers dust in a cookie tin. So here's what I want you to do. Right after this video, go check your change, your drawers, your old piggy banks. Call your parents, your grandparents. Ask if they have old jars of coins. This coin won't wait forever. And if you do find something, get it professionally graded, get it verified, and don't sell it to the first pawn shop that offers you $50. You know what it's worth now. You've been warned. You've been inspired. Now it's your move. Because the next millionaire from an old penny could be you. We're diving into the secrets behind the 1970 no mint mark Lincoln D. penny. What makes it valuable, how to spot the real deal, and how people like you are turning pocket change into power, wealth, and freedom. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal one subtle feature, barely visible, that separates a $1 penny from a six-figure treasure. And if you miss it, you might miss your shot at a new life. Oh, what makes this little coin so special? Let's rewind to 1970. Gas was 36 cents. Nixon was president. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. But a few slipped through, missing a critical mint mark, the tiny letter below the date that tells you where the coin was made. The Denver Mint coins should have had a small d, but a rare printing error led to some being struck without it. This wasn't just a fluke. It was a minting anomaly, a printing ghost, a coin that shouldn't exist. And in the world of coin collectors, when something shouldn't exist, its value multiplies. Fast. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card. But for money. But here's the twist, thousands of people have one of these pennies and don't even know it, because they've never looked closely enough. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you examined a penny? Not just glanced at it. I mean, really looked. We're trained to ignore them, step over them, dismiss them as worthless. And yet, that mindset, that tiny oversight, could be the difference between a regular Tuesday and a $580,000 payday. That's why collectors, smart collectors, live by one rule. Always look twice. Because wealth doesn't always show up in a briefcase. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. By the way, if you're suddenly tempted to dump out every coin jar in your house after this, don't worry. You're not alone. Just don't start biting pennies to test if they're real. That's not how it works. And your dentist will thank you. Alright, let's get into the details. The 1970 D Lincoln cent with no mint mark should feature sharp, high-relief details, especially around Lincoln's profile and the word liberty. The D mint mark is usually right below the year. If it's completely missing, and the coin matches specific die characteristics from verified sales, you might just have the rare specimen that sold for $580,000 at auction. Point 1 sold at heritage auctions not long ago. Graded professionally, near perfect condition. And yes, someone turned a penny into $500,000. Legally, instantly. But here's the thing, it's not just about this penny. This is about possibility. What else is hiding in your drawers, your jars, your basement, your attic? What other opportunities have you overlooked? Because they didn't look like they were worth anything, this coin is your wake-up call. Because we're living in a time where knowledge creates wealth. And the people who understand what to look for and what to keep are the ones who win. Coming up, I'm going to show you the single most common mistake people make when evaluating this coin. A mistake that instantly drops its value to just 1 cent. Make it, and you're out $500,000. Miss it, and you'll never know what you had. But first, if you're serious about unlocking the hidden value in your coins, if you're ready to turn your curiosity into cash, you need to know where to sell, how to authenticate, and what to avoid. Because unfortunately, scammers love this space, and they prey on uninformed sellers every day. The safest ways to get your coin professionally graded, the red flags that mean your buyer is a fraud, and the best auction houses where million-dollar coins are sold to real collectors. And finally, I'll reveal 3 other pennies in circulation right now that are worth even more than the 1970 no mint cent. Yes, even more. Because this isn't just about one coin. It's about the life you could be living if you start paying attention. So grab that coffee jar, open that shoebox, and never look at a penny the same way again. Your fortune could be waiting, and it might only cost you a second glance. If you found this eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more hidden coin secrets, and share this video with someone you care about, because their penny jar might be worth more than your 401k. We're uncovering the secret of the 1962 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny, no mint mark, worth up to $870,000. That's not a typo, folks. Stay tuned until the end, because we'll also show you how to check if you have one of these rare pennies, and most importantly, how to cash in on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's start with the basics. You may think you've heard of every rare coin in existence, but trust me, this one's different. The 1962 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny, a coin most people wouldn't even give a second glance, is one of the most sought-after and mysterious coins in the world. And it all comes down to one small detail: a missing mint mark. In 1962, the U.S. Mint was churning out pennies like they were going out of style. But something happened that year, something so rare that it has left collectors scratching their heads. Some of the pennies produced in Denver that year, well, they didn't have the D mint mark. A mistake, a mystery, or maybe something more. We'll get to that. Now, these pennies with the missing mint mark didn't just slip through the cracks. They've been documented, but for decades, no one really thought much of them. That is, until collectors began to notice something strange. A very rare error in a sea of ordinary coins. And as these pennies slowly started being discovered, their value skyrocketed. So what's all the hype about? Why is this simple penny suddenly worth up to $870,000? You see, this isn't just about the missing mint mark. It's about rarity, scarcity, and the history of the coin. The 1962 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny with no mint mark is considered one of the most elusive errors in U.S. coin history. It's a true needle in a haystack. You may be wondering, how do I know if my penny is one of these rare coins? It's not just about looking at the date. You need to check for that tiny, missing mint mark. And don't assume it's a simple mistake. Coins with this error are highly prized, and they're worth a pretty penny, pun intended. But here's where the real magic happens. These pennies are not just valuable for their rarity. They represent the very essence of scarcity and history. With less than a handful of known 1962 D. Lincoln pennies without mint marks, these coins have become like diamonds in the world of numismatics. And that scarcity, that drives the price through the roof. At recent auctions, these rare coins have been selling for $50,000, $100,000, and yes, you guessed it, some have even hit the unbelievable mark of $870,000. But here's the kicker. There's a chance you could be holding one of these pennies right now. The question is, are you willing to let it slip through your fingers? Now, this is where things get serious. Imagine you've got one of these pennies. sitting right there in your hand, just waiting to be discovered. But how do you confirm it? How do you turn that old coin into a windfall? First, you need to check the coin for the missing mint mark. Flip it over, look closely. If there's no D on the reverse side, you might have a true rarity on your hands. But before you get too excited, don't just assume. You'll need a professional grading service to verify its authenticity. Here's a tip: don't skip this step. A coin that hasn't been authenticated by a reputable grading company might be worth a fraction of its potential value. Trust me, you don't want to leave money on the table. Once it's graded, it's time to sell. You've got options: auction houses, private dealers, or specialized coin brokers. But don't wait too long. The market for these rare pennies is hot, and prices fluctuate. Are you going to take action on this today? Or will you let the opportunity slip away? The clock is ticking, and the next buyer might be just around the corner. Listen closely. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, but the 1962 D Lincoln Memorial Penny is in a class of its own. It's more than just a coin. It's an opportunity. An opportunity to change your financial future and live the life you've always dreamed of. The choice is yours. Take action, or let this once-in-a-lifetime chance pass by. But there's one more thing I haven't told you yet. What if I told you there are other rare coins out there, just waiting to be discovered? What if I told you there's a way to uncover hidden treasures in your own collection? Well, that's a story for another day. But don't worry, I'll be back soon to show you exactly how you can make your fortune in this exciting world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1962 D Lincoln Memorial Penny, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more valuable coin tips. And if you think you might have one of these rare pennies, share your story with us in the comments below. Let's keep this treasure hunt going. I'm about to reveal a coin that could make you a fortune, and it's worth way more than any penny you'll find in your change jar. Welcome to the channel. If you've been collecting coins for years, or you just found an old penny lying around, this video is for you. In the next 10 minutes, I'll walk you through the fascinating world of rare coins, how to spot the gems, and why one specific 1952 Lincoln penny, yes, the one with no mint mark, could be worth up to $970,000 today. So, grab that old coin jar and let's dive into the incredible story of the 1952 Lincoln 1-cent penny that could change your life. Picture this: you walk into your kitchen, your hands full with a bunch of old coins you've been holding on to for years. You're about to toss them into a drawer when you spot it: a 1952 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny. But what if, hidden beneath its copper exterior, lies the key to life-changing wealth? Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just another penny. But I need you to stop right there. What if I told you that not all 1952 pennies are created equal? That's where the magic happens. Some 1952 pennies could have a mint mark on them, which is usually placed near the date. But then there are the 1952 Memorial pennies with no mint mark. And if you're holding one, this penny could be worth up to $970,000. Yes, you heard me correctly. Why is this penny so valuable? In 1952, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies. However, only a very small number of 1952 pennies were mistakenly struck without the mint mark. This means, despite it looking like a regular coin, it is extremely rare. Now, you're probably wondering what makes it so special. Well, the lack of a mint mark makes it a rare error coin, and rare coins are always in high demand among collectors. The scarcity of these coins is what drives their incredible value. Now, think about this for a moment. Could you be holding something worth a small fortune in your hand right now? I know it sounds almost too good to be true, but for the savvy collector or the right buyer, this penny is no joke. And if you don't act quickly, you could miss the opportunity to sell it for a life-changing amount. So, how do you know if you have one of these rare pennies? It all comes down to the minting error. But here's the thing: time is of the essence. The longer you wait, the less likely it is that your coin will remain in pristine condition, and its value could decrease. Have you ever heard of the sell now or regret later scenario? Because once collectors know the value of this coin, they'll be on the hunt for it, and you could miss your chance to cash in. Right now, these coins are in high demand, and if you happen to have one, The market value could be as high as $970,000. But let me throw in a little cliffhanger for you. You might already be asking yourself, how do I sell it for that kind of money? Don't worry, we'll get to that in just a second. Stay with me. Let me tell you a real-life story about a man named Jack. He found a similar coin in his grandfather's collection and didn't think much of it. But when he had it evaluated by a coin expert, he couldn't believe his eyes. The coin he had, a 1952 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, was worth almost $800,000. Jack decided to sell it at auction, and the bidding went wild. The final price? $1.20 million. Can you imagine waking up to that kind of news? Jack's life changed forever in an instant, and it all started with a simple penny that most people would have overlooked. So, what can we learn from Jack's story? There's a market out there for these rare coins, and it's lucrative. But only if you know what you have, act fast, and sell it at the right time. Now, I know some of you might be sitting there thinking, but I don't want to be one of those people on the news who sells their treasure for $50 at a yard sale. Well, don't worry, because we're about to get into how you can avoid that. Now, let's talk about what you need to do if you think you've got one of these rare pennies. Don't just take my word for it. Take your coin to a professional coin dealer or a certified appraiser. They can authenticate the coin and determine its true value. High-end auctions are a great place to sell rare coins. These events attract buyers who are looking for these types of items, and you could get top dollar for your coin. This market fluctuates. Sometimes coins are hot and sometimes they're not. So, make sure you're selling at the right moment when demand is high. So, are you ready for the best part? You don't have to be a seasoned coin collector to make a fortune. As long as you know what to look for and where to sell it, you could be just one coin away from a wealthy future. What if you're not the one who discovers this rare penny? What if someone else does and makes millions before you? That's the fear you need to overcome if you want to live the life you've always dreamed of. Remember, time is ticking, and opportunities like this don't last forever. The next person who gets their hands on this coin could be you. Will you seize the chance or wait until it's too late? Now, if you're serious about unlocking the value of your rare coins, I've got something special for you. Click the link in the description below to join our exclusive coin collectors community, where we share the latest insights and updates on rare coins that could make you a fortune. Don't wait until it's too late. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered.